One of the first lessons you need to learn as a high value man, or if you want to be one, is that real valuable knowledge comes with a price. It's easy to get caught up in free opinions and unsolicited advice. But the wisdom that will truly elevate you is not handed out for free. Successful men understand that valuable information, the kind that leads to real growth and wealth, is earned through hard work, experience, and sometimes investment. If you're serious about leveling up, as they say, you need to be prepared to invest in the knowledge that'll take you there. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. Now, the one thing is making, and I'm going to do my very best to give you some knowledge that you would otherwise have to pay for. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, and appreciate y'all like, sharing, subscribing. And you'll understand while I'm giving this message after I get warmed up here. Somebody type, the Blizzard King is cooling down or warming up. You have to establish boundaries, and setting clear boundaries is essential to success. Without having firm limits, then what you do is you allow other people to drain your time and energy and focus. And these are resources that are critical to achieving your goals. Boundaries help you define what you will and won't tolerate, and it ensures that your priorities remain front and center, as opposed to you putting somebody else's priorities because they constantly using your time, energy, and resources. And these boundaries act as a protective barrier, and it keeps the distractions away and the negative influences at bay. Basically, nope, not gonna happen. Bag back and give me 50 feet. Somebody type bag back in the chat room. Now, when people violate these boundaries, whether it's in your personal relationships or if it's at work or even just your everyday life, it's important to address it immediately. Okay, don't let these things slide. Somebody steps across the line, you let them know immediately, just like a bad dog. Because if you keep letting them violate these boundaries, then after a while, they're gonna think this is the norm for you. And in fact, it's gonna be harder and harder to enforce these boundaries if you don't check them immediately on that. Now, allowing somebody to continuously overstep their limits, it's gonna lead to frustration on your part. It's gonna lead to resentment, and and at some point, you just realize you're wasting your time because they are never going to learn unless you put them in their place. You have to be willing to remove those people who don't respect your boundaries from your life. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be a relative, it could be a child, okay? It could be, I'm looking at Brian McKnight. He had to get rid of some of his own biological children. 50 Cent, he had to get rid of some of his own biological children because their presence was derailing his progress, and they were preventing him or those gentlemen from reaching their own full potential. For you and some of you all, it's that favorite cousin. Some of you all, it's your father. Some of you all, it's your mothers. It's close relatives. But see, in every aspect of life, whether it's with friends, family, co-workers, or even just acquaintances, you can't afford to invest time in those who aren't adding value or aligning with your vision, okay? Let me say that again, aligning with your vision. So you need to protect your energy. Somebody type protect your energy in the chat room. Somebody type protect your energy in the chat room. And you need to protect your energy by surrounding yourself with people who respect your boundaries and who are also supportive of your goals. This mindset is not only going to help you focus or stay focused, but it also is going to empower you to prioritize, your success, your well-being over the demands of others and their expectations for you in your life. And that's something other people have expectations of you. You have a set goal, you have things you want to do, and they constantly telling you what they want you to do, right? Not what you want to do for yourself. It's okay to be selfish in that regard, Go ahead and set your boundaries. Now, the other thing is, and this is personal to me, all right? Many of you know me. I'm Dennis Spurling, also known as the Blizzard King, and I've spent decades, literally, cultivating a certain image, a public image. So now that when I go places, not only do people recognize me, but they pay me to show up. People buy my books. I was at the Black Manosphere 4.0 recently, and I sold $2,000 worth of books in a matter of about 15 minutes. I signed about 30 different autographs and took probably about 30 or 40 different photographs. And I recognize the value of my time, okay? And recognizing the value of your time is crucial to your own personal and professional growth. My time, your time, is the most valuable resource you have. And it's important to treat it as such. You only have, if you're lucky, you get 80 years on this planet. It's only 24 hours in a day. You need to spend 8 of those hours, 10 of those hours working. You need to sleep, you gotta eat, there's a lot of stuff you need to do. And so you don't have a whole lot of time in that 80-year time period. A lot of it is spent sleep, and a lot of it is doing stuff that you don't want to do, okay? Doing stuff you have to do. So what you need to understand is you don't want to allow anyone to devalue your worth by expecting you to give away freely your time, especially when it comes to your skills, knowledge, and labor. Understand your worth means setting standards on how you spend your time and not letting others exploit you. It's perfectly fine to support charitable causes or to help others when you choose to do so. But you need to be in control of those decisions. You can't get punked into doing charity work. All right? When somebody expects you to work for free, particularly those who under the guise of helping out, right? Don't you love that? We used to get that all to give back to the community, help out for the greater good. Somebody type for the greater good in the chat room. That's a red flag. That's straight up manipulation. You understand me? And these people, they're basically just they're attempting to take advantage of you, and they're attempting to take advantage of your generosity, your expertise, or your goodwill without offering anything in return. Okay, so they're exploiting you. Now, again, generosity is important, but there's a difference between giving on your own terms and being manipulated into giving away your time and effort. I mean, we can use the church as a good example. You intended to go in there and give $10 and thump that tray as it's going on by, but the manipulation starts, and then you end up giving $30 or $40 more, and now you don't have any money for the brunch. You can't go to get the mimosas at the brunch because you done gave away your $40. You know what I'm talking about? You came out the house with $50. By the time you left the church, you was dead broke. That's manipulation. And I know we love the church. Lord knows I love my church, and I give to my church. I pay I give my money to my church. I do what I'm supposed to do. But see, here's the thing. You don't allow others to pressure you into providing free services, especially when they wouldn't do the same for you, or when they can't do the same for you. Okay, this is not quid pro quo. They just want you to do something for free, something they can't do for themselves, something they can't do for you. And you need to recognize again that your time and your work have value. You understand me? Somebody type value in the chat room and protect that value by assuring that you're properly compensated. Somebody type money in the chat room. Somebody type get money in the chat room. Somebody type give me my money in the chat room. Okay, you need to be properly compensated, or that any charitable work you do is aligned with your goals and principles. I got a real life example for you. See, people always try to exploit, or they want to exploit my reputation and success. Right? This is what they like to do. They want to they don't want to offer me any compensation. Okay? And so I have to set boundaries with them. I mean, I've built a successful career as an attorney, and it's taken literally 3 decades, almost going on 3 decades to do that. And I'm regularly approached by folks, especially brothers who know me from my online personality, and many of them expect me to work for free. I had one fella go back and forth with me about 5, 6, 7, 8 emails under the pretense of helping him, or I should help the brotherhood. This brother said he represented the whole brotherhood, and you know, or supporting some common cause. You understand me? And this fella, you know, he basically wanted to use me and involve me in whatever his project was, and under the pretense that would boost his venture, right? Now, he wasn't offering me anything. I know my reputation. I know as many of you out there that appreciate me, and you know me, and if I put my hands on something, if I involve myself in something, that means I properly vetted it, and you'll support it. One of the reasons I don't deal with a lot of advertisers, and the reason I don't let those politicians come on my broadcast, no matter how much money they offer me, is because I'm not going to associate myself with something and allow it to undermine my reputation with you all. You see, this is a hard-fought reputation that I have. I've been through a lot of ups and downs on these YouTube streets. I've been through, I've had to deal with people, and I've done so effectively. And so when people want to come out and use my reputation, because see, it's 100,000 other lawyers out there that can use. It's several other YouTube lawyers that they could associate themselves with. But they want to use my reputation because mine is different, mine is special. And not only am I a lawyer, but I also have credit with the brothers. You see, that's why I have so many. At this point, we have thousands and thousands of black men to listen to my broadcast. And there's a benefit, see? There's a benefit of associating with my hard-earned success. But you don't want to pay me. See, you want me to do something for free. And, you know, I appreciate you all, you know, who watch my broadcast and everything, and I don't mind doing this. And I do appreciate you all who actually contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. But for the most part, this is done free. You see what I'm saying? And, again, I've invested years into my profession. I've built a public profile, and it's unreasonable, and it's downright disrespectful for people to try to expect me to work for free. Uncle D doesn't work for free. Understand what I'm talking about? I'm not doing anything for free, okay? And, you know, and in doing so, I establish firm boundaries with people because, like they say, everybody will ride a free mule. You see, you'll ride that free mule until you can't ride no more, until the mule is broke down. And I'm not one to let somebody take advantage of me. And I'm going to make sure I ensure that my time and my reputation remain intact, and you're going to value it because you wasn't with me shooting in the gym, and you wasn't with me when I was taking those law school courses or building my online profile and talking to people. Now, here's another thing I want you to understand. You can't take advice from everybody. And you guys have seen me rebuff many of folk who try to give me advice. I don't care if it's weightlifting. I don't care if it's doing push-ups. I don't care. See, one of the most, and this is about, when we're talking about money, we're talking about power, we're talking about fame, we're talking about success, and we're talking about your path to becoming a high-value man, okay? That's what Kevin Samuels, he coined that term, and it says everything I need, so I'm going to adopt it for the purpose of this conversation, because this is what Kevin wanted me to talk about. He talked about relationships. He wanted me to talk about power. He wanted me to talk about how to attain power, and I've talked a lot. I did a broadcast some years back, and I explained how to become the man about town, how to make political connections, associating yourself with these type of people. And people contact me, and they want to do consultations about that, how to hold on to your money in a divorce, how to not get hammered in child support. I've helped many people. I've helped people get through medical school, deal with these sort of processes that they deal with. And, you know, I don't mind doing that, but still you have to pay for a consultation. I don't mind doing it, but you got to pay. And the thing is, again, when I am entering into those consultations, I prepare, and my reputation is on the line. And so, you know, like I say, you don't take advice from everybody. All right. One of the most critical factors in your personal and professional growth is selecting the right resource or the right advice. You understand? Or the right source of advice. You should only accept advice from people who are in a position you aspire to reach, okay? or who have achieved a level of success greater than yours. You understand me? These people, they have a proven track record. You see? They've already reached their goals. They've attained it. Okay? And something you're working towards. And they understand the challenges and pitfalls that you're going to face. And their advice is grounded in real world experience. Somebody type real world in the chat room. And that makes it more reliable and relevant to your situation. On the contrary, when you start talking to people who haven't accomplished what you want, or then you can often be misguided. To me, unsolicited advice is like a mosquito in my ear. It's like somebody dropping some ink in a clean glass of water. You got to filter that bad advice out of your head because you're still trying to process it. You might end up down the wrong road. And even though some of these people may have good intentions, their lack of experience or understanding of what it truly takes to succeed may result in them offering advice that is more theoretical or based on assumptions rather than live reality. I mean, look, in the black community, you got an old, vagrant, homeless man that happens to be your relative. Because he's your elder, you're obligated to sit up and listen to this man. He might be a drug addict, crackhead, homeless, ex-convict, but because he's an elder, you're supposed to listen to him. I don't operate like that. You see? I don't operate like that. I don't care who this person is. I don't care who he is to me at all. Okay? See, the problem with people like that is they don't have the insight needed to navigate the complexities of achieving success, and following their guidance is more likely than not going to lead you to make mistakes and pursue paths that aren't beneficial. See, when you seeking advice, you need to focus on people who not only have achieved the goals you desire, but also have demonstrated a consistent ability to maintain that success over time. So that's another aspect that I want you to understand. Maintaining success over time. What does that mean? That means I wasn't just rich 10 years ago. I'm still rich now. Because see, somebody that had it and lost it, the advice that they give you, right? They can give you, they give you advice, but it's advice that clearly didn't work for them. There's a deficit in there somewhere. There's some ink in that clean glass of water. There's some poison in that glass of water. And you need to stay away from that too. Because see, their experience and their wisdom are rooted in practical knowledge, which makes their advice more actionable and possibly trustworthy, but aligning yourself with them, as opposed to the right mentors and advisors, you still have to discern what's accurate and what's not. See, it's important to realize that not all advice is created equal. Just because someone offers you guidance doesn't mean it's valuable or applicable to your situation. And so if you're talking to somebody who had it and lost it, or you talking to somebody that never had it at all, then you have to practice discernment. Somebody type, when you good spellers up in there, somebody type discernment. And discernment is key, okay? But some people don't have good discernment, you see? You got to try to figure out what's good and bad. They don't have good discernment. Now you're still guessing. You've heard some advice and you don't know who to believe. So what do? You look past their actions and their current state to try to figure out who it is I should listen to, as opposed to trying to guess. See, again, like I said, discernment is the key. This means taking time to critically evaluate the source of the advice and whether their experience aligns with their goals, whether their reality aligns with what they're professing to be knowledgeable of. You see, it requires effort to sift through what is useful and what is not, especially when the advice is coming from people who haven't achieved what you're striving for. I don't want to try to figure out what you're telling me is accurate or not. Either you got it and you can show you got it. Okay, I'm gonna believe you. If you got it and you're trying to tell me how to get it, but you don't have it, I'm not gonna believe you. You see? And when you take advice, and here's another thing, when you take advice from successful people, their track record speaks for itself. these people have already navigated the path you want to follow. What that means is they can provide insights that are grounded in real world success. Somebody type real world in the chat room. And their advice is more likely practicable, or should I say practical. And it's tailored to help you achieve similar results that they have. You see? Because they've been there and done that. Somebody type been there and done that. And shout out to everybody who's contributing to the super chat. The thing is, when you're talking to people who've already been there and held on to it, and they're where you want to be, they understand the nuances of the challenges that come with striving for excellence. You understand? And they can guide you through it with a higher degree of credibility. Another thing is, as a black lawyer, as a black professional, there are some things that I've had to deal with that lawyers of other ethnicities would not have had to deal with. And so, speaking of black professionals, especially black lawyers, you want to have a black lawyer who's a mentor. You're a law student, you want to have a black lawyer who's a mentor, a successful one, not just everybody. Now, because there's some nuances that maybe a lawyer from a different ethnicity would not know. Now, the other thing is, when you get this advice from people who are unsuccessful, or from those who once succeeded but then they failed and hold on to it. I have a saying in my book. I say, if you get something and you can't hold on to it, it never was yours in the first place. So don't be upset about it. But the bottom line is, if you're talking to people who were never successful or people who had it and lost it, then their advice is misleading, or it can be. And they offer advice based on theory, and if they haven't been able to hold on to it, then they're offering advice that could be outdated, you see, and stuff that doesn't apply anymore because they're not actually holding on to what they said. I was in the NFL, man, back in 2005. Well, it's 2024 now, man. They running different plays. They running different options. People are different, bigger, faster, stronger. It's just a different game, you see? And the fact is, when they have a failure to sustain success, that could mean that they have blind spots and that could derail you as well as just like it derailed them. And so when you follow people's advice, when you follow their advice, it seems logical, right? It sounds good at first, but then it leads you down the wrong path, and it can cause you to repeat the same mistakes that they had. So, the problem is, or should I say, this discernment process involves being aware of the subtle differences in advice and quality, and being selective. Somebody type selective in the chat room, right? Be selective about the opinions you trust. And you need to learn from the right role models. It's about aligning the advice you take with your ambitions, okay? And that's going to ensure that it comes from those who have not only achieved, but also maintained over time. And see, the consistency, and this is the other thing about people who had it and lost it, versus people who have it and held on to it. Okay, that consistency of being able to hold on to it, that's a sign that reflects discipline. You see? That's a sign that reflects adaptability. You understand me? Because you can have had it and held on to it and done everything right, but if you were undisciplined, you weren't able to adapt, and you didn't have long-term vision, that's probably a good reason why you lost it. So why would I listen to that? Now, let me tell you something else. Okay? And I know this is going to be harsh, but some people just need to shut up. Not all advice deserves attention, and some people should just be outright dismissed in a very harsh manner. When people give you unsolicited advice, that's advice you didn't ask for. That's somebody running up, that's somebody putting posts under your social media tab, telling you what you should be doing, how you should be exercising, how you should be living, what kind of car you need to be driving. That's unsolicited advice. How you should raise your children, how you should treat your woman, or for the ladies who are listening, how you should treat your man, okay? Especially those who lack experience or understanding in what you're trying to achieve. Their input is more of a distraction than a benefit. And it's important to recognize that people like that, they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind, okay? Or they may be simply offering misguided opinions that could derail you or your progress. The thing you need to understand is, if you're already successful, people want to jump on the bandwagon. And they want to feel like they participated in your success. They're too lazy to go out and get it on their own. So they see you succeeding, and then they want to give you advice on how you should further succeed. And they haven't done it first. Shut up. Get your low self-esteem, insecure self out of my life. You understand me? Go do something for yourself. Stop taking the lazy way out and trying to piggyback off somebody else's success so they can say, yeah, I told him he should do it like this, and now look at him. Some random person on the internet. You understand? And so what I'm telling you guys is, and you guys have seen me do it, right? The Blizzard King community tab on YouTube is outstanding when it comes to rebuffing people. It's not just enough to ignore bad advice. You know, some people say just ignore them. No, you need to make it clear to these people in no uncertain terms that unsolicited advice and input is unwelcome. You understand me? Somebody type unwelcome in the chat room. And by rebuffing them firmly, okay, and you may use a few expletives in your response, then what that does is, in a way, it leaves no doubt to anybody, and you send us the type of message that you're not open to wasting time on advice that holds no value to you. So they can hold on to that. And this not only protects your mental and emotional energy, but it also discourages them and other people from repeating the same behavior in the future, because they've been spreading that bad advice to all these other people. Nobody wants to hear what you got to say. If I didn't pay for it, I don't want to hear it. You understand me? Especially somebody like me. Why would I take advice from anybody who's not more successful than me? That goes back to the first lesson of being a high value man. I don't want to hear what you have to say. You see? See, the thing about free advice, and they say it's free advice, you can know. Free advice is worth what it costs you to get it. In other words, it has no value. It's often the least valuable because it doesn't come from a place of earned wisdom and accountability. If people are throwing it out for free, it has no value. People who genuinely understand the value of knowledge and skill and experience, they know that valuable lessons usually come with a price. And whether it's through personal sacrifice or formal education or years of hard work in a certain field, you earn the experience, okay? And that's why advice or mentorship from accomplished people is usually more beneficial, and it comes from someone who has walked the path and is willing to share these proven insights. Ultimately, fam, and I want y'all to listen to me, being selective about who you lend your ears to, it ensures that you're not led astray. Because see, there are many people that will lead you astray and then laugh at you. And I don't want that to be you. See, opinions are cheap, and unqualified, unhelpful people will be more than happy to give you their opinion. See, value comes from those who have something meaningful to offer. And when it comes to navigating your path to success, not everyone is qualified to give you the direction, to point you in the right way. You see, I do my very best, you know, to give people the best advice that I can. And I always use my sons as my measuring stick. Would I give my children, who I love with all my heart, this same advice? And if I would, then I give it to you. And that's why I'm you know, every time I jump on here, man, it's an act of love. You know, like I tell you brothers all the time, I want to see you ball. You see? I want to see you do well. I want to see you do better than me. I want to be looking up to you one day. You understand me? I want my sons to be looking up to you fellas one day. And if I have daughters, I want them to be looking up to you. So, you know, it's important, you know, and when we talk about paid advice, you know, truly valuable knowledge and expertise, it comes with a price. And when you pay for advice, see, you're investing in insights that have been earned through hard work, experience, education, and years of success. And this principle that I'm talking to you all about is rooted in the idea that quality guidance, especially from experts, it's not something that should be given away lightly. That's why they got the phrase, the game is sold and not told. Somebody typed that in the chat room. The game is sold, not told. Let's do it one more time for the players. The game is sold and not told, all right? And that perfectly captures the mindset if someone has mastered their craft. You understand me? And their wisdom has real value. And it's only fair that this value is compensated. You can't just go, you want something to value, you got to pay for it. Again, shout out to everybody who's kicking into the super chat. You understand me? All right, I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to everybody who came through the Cash App. It should be at the bottom of the page, but if it's not, mods, I want y'all to put that in there. Free advice, and some people, they might have good intentions, right? But it's often superficial or generic. It's full of old sayings and whatnot. You know what I mean? Birds of a feather flock together. They say stuff like that. Like, okay, well, what does that mean? All water finds its level. Not, okay. What does that mean? It's just generic, superficial, old hand-me-down. Because some people just want to hear themselves speak. They want to sound intelligent. But it lacks any depth or relevance. You see? It lacks what's necessary to achieve success. Paid advice from people who are successful and who've walked that path and who've held on to it. That advice, on the other hand, it usually comes from professionals who've demonstrated success in that field. And by paying for those insights, you're gaining access to refined knowledge. And that can directly help you benefit your goals, achieve your goals. And this, in exchange, reinforces the idea that knowledge is a commodity. Somebody type commodity in the chat room. Knowledge is a commodity, okay? And when you value it enough to invest in it, you're far more likely to apply it effectively and reap the rewards. What did I just say? When somebody makes you pay for this game that you get, you're gonna put it to use because you had to pay. You had to pay for it, and that's what I do all the time. You see, you got to pay for it. I had to pay for it. You got to pay for it. Now, here's the thing. As a high-value man, as a successful man, your time, your energy, and your resources are the most valuable assets that you have, brothers. And you don't want to waste those things, that time, energy, and resources, or get misdirected by somebody's free advice that holds no weight from people who haven't achieved what they aspire to. They just talking. They like mosquitoes buzzing in your ear. You need to invest in yourself by seeking knowledge from people who have already reached those levels of success and who are striving for it. And remember this, the road to becoming rich and successful and being a high value man, and that it requires a lot of discernment, it requires focus, it requires discipline, and it requires the willingness to pay the price. And quality advice and wisdom, it's hard to come by, you see? And I'm gonna tell you this, your future self will thank you. I have a mentor, one of the most brilliant attorneys I've ever met in my life. And sometimes if I have a tough question, I give him a call and he just basically, even if a telephone call, he just puts his tentacles in my brain and drains all the knowledge out of the subject and then feedback. It's hard to hear. You see, it's hard to hear. Sometimes that good, solid advice, it's hard to hear because, man, it just makes you have to go back to the drawing board. But that's what you pay for. You see, if the advice that your mentor is giving you doesn't make you uncomfortable, then it's not good advice. If your mentor, somebody who's where you need to be or where you want to be, the advice they give you should make you uncomfortable. It should make you question yourself. It should make you say, damn, why didn't I think of that? You see, that's one of the telltale signs that you got good advice. If you just, yeah, man, when somebody's saying something, yeah, you co-sign or you can conceptualize something that they're not even on your level. But anyway, man, shout out to all the fellas, man. I want you guys to invest in real knowledge. I want you to seek out the people who can actually help you get to where you're trying to get to. I consider myself one of those people, and I've been properly vetted through the educational system, through the real life system, as a father, as a business owner, as a homeowner, as a man who wants to see you do well. You know, and that's why I open myself up for these conversations. But other than that, man, I love you guys. God bless y'all. This is Uncle D. Shout out, make sure you guys buy my books on Amazon, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All right, this is Uncle D, man. I'm out.